Hi, we are the team two, and we're going to talk about our anecdotes. In this case, we did previously a list of questions in team, and we decide to talk about paranormal anecdotes because we are in the month of October, almost in November, and we thought that it will be a really good subject for this season. Then now I'm going to let you with my partner, William, and he's going to talk about his anecdote.
I I have a history with La Llorona or so, I think. 1 year ago, I went to Cancun with a friend. We went out to party at night in the famous clubs in the area. The party got out of hand and we didn't realize how many hours we spent there. So when we left the club, it was already too late. We decided not to take a taxi since the hotel was closed, and we could walk back through the streets that were full of people. We walked a few blocks until we researched a park where we decided to stop to rest. We had noticed that the street looked lonelier, and when we sat down in the park, the street was completely empty. Only music could be heard in the distance, but in the background of the music, something could heard a lament, a painful lament for a woman, which grew louder and louder, and we could tell where it came from. At one point, we looked at each other and wondered if what we heard was really or just a product of the drinks. Afterwards, my friend looked in all directions, looking for the origin of these screams, and when he finally found in the you say to me, "It's over there," pointing to a woman in a white dress who seemed to be floating on the other side of the street. When we saw that, we both ran to the hotel. This was my experience. I leave you with the following story.
Thank you, William. So now I'm going to talk about my experience, and it was an experience of my childhood. So on one occasion, when I was only a 14 years old children, I was visiting my grandmother in the town where I grew up. Located in the community of Sinapecuaro, Michoacan. This place, as well as known, is a state full of legends and myths. However, I have always been very skeptical about paranormal things, so the idea of spending the night listening to my aunt's gossip doesn't seem good to me. So I planned to go out to the yard to swing on the hammock that we had tied to the trees. And while I watched how my brother and my cousins ran around the yard playing and shouting, like the children we were back then, my grandmother, upon hearing the noise, came out to where we were saying, "Stop playing at this time of night, and you stop swinging at this time." You see that here the people say that if you swing at night and or play at night, you do it accompanied by the devil. And then she re-entered to her house. That couldn't only my cause my brother and I looked at each other with a gesture of ridicule because as a city children we believed that these things were not possible. However, my grandmother, seeing that we did not heed the warning, came out to repeat those words a little more annoying than normal. And just like on the first occasion, my brother and I ignored her. However, those warnings would soon make sense because minutes later, we heard a lament on the street that shocked us all, like a woman complaining of a very strong pain. That lament felt as close as if the sound had been emitted in my ear. Then we turned to the street knowing that the sound was coming from that place. We, when we realized that we were all hearing the same sound because the first sound in our faces, we all ran inside the house, scared and unable to speak or explain what we were experiencing. My mother, my grandmother, then only limit herself to telling us, "I told you so." So that's my story, and I think that is a little bit similar like the William. And that's it. And thank you for your attention. And it's the this is the end.
Thank you. See you.